All right, everybody. We started this tournament, became a challenger in 2019. This is our first year that we have an All-American final. First up from North Carolina, Patrick Kypson. Next, coming on court from New Jersey, Zheng. Good luck, fellas. Have a great match.
Careful for the ball. minutes, gentlemen, 3 minutes. Two minutes. One minute. Ladies and gentlemen, the final match will be a best of 3 tiebreak sets. At the left of the chair, Patrick Kypson won the toss, and he left it to serve.
Here we go. The singles final in the 2025 UAMS Health Little Rock Open, part of the ATP Challenger Tour and USTA Pro Circuit. Some names that we didn't expect to play in this final, but if you're just following our doubles finals coverage, it's been a welcome surprise to see 2 names that have risen the ranks after a very successful week in the capital city of Arkansas, and we'll look towards a bright summer and future. Will it be the 4th qualifier to win a challenger title this year, or will it be just the 2nd player in college tennis to win a challenger title in 2025? Patrick Kypson has had brilliant service all week long and has just powered past opponents time and time again. Michael Zheng, NCAA singles champion back in November, became the first Ivy League player to win that national championship since 1922. Used a big run in the 2nd set to take down the number 2 seed Liam Draxel yesterday, and we will see if the kid has his best stuff, as each player will play their 5th match in as many days. Rain got us off to a slow start in this Little Rock Open, but after 23 matches completed on Wednesday, 13 more on Thursday, got our quarterfinals in the singles and doubles, and here we are. Final match of the week. Kypson won the toss. He wants to serve. And that's what will be the key for Kypson. In 4 main draw matches, Kypson has been broken 1 time. And he's found a way to rack up those points early and often. There's not been many players that have returned 3, 4, 5 across the net. That's where we will see if Kypson can hang in those rallies. Started this run to the final this afternoon, taking down the top seed in the field. Mitchell Kruger Wednesday night had his hands full, as it was Kypson ace after ace, and in a 2.5-hour battle against somebody that has made the main draw of a couple of Grand Slams in the last year and won opening round matches. Kypson breezed to a 31-minute first set, and his first step today taken. 4 quick points for Kypson. Continues to be that impressive story. Now you've heard Kypson's name time and time again, but been bit by the injury bug throughout his career, and now it will be Michael Zheng. Was quite comfortable in a deficit yesterday against Liam Draxel, the number 2 seed, and the only seeded player to make the quarterfinal round of the 2025 UAMS Health Little Rock Open. Zheng trailed 3-love in that first set, won 6 of the final 7 games, and just with all that momentum, took the second set over Draxel, who had made 2 Challenger finals since the start of April here in the US, out in Sarasota and Savannah. And so what does the Columbia Lion have left?
Michael Zheng to serve.
Wide from Kypson. Doesn't feel fair to say with a win today, Michael Zheng would become the lowest ranked player to win a title on the Challenger Tour this year. Number 723 entering this week. Zheng back to where he played his first ever Challenger just a couple years ago, right after his freshman season. Lost in the opening round after making the main draw as a qualifier. Though we have constantly seen the improvement just over these last 2 summers and last few months at that.
$30-50.
Quickly 40-15 in the first service game for Zheng. Has not landed that first serve just yet. I know we talk about the unstoppable force with Kypson's service and the immovable object, just how good Zheng has been in his return game. Feels like this is where the match can be decided. The holds and the breaks on this side.
Use.
Excellent point for Zheng to take advantage. See him mix it up. Incredible for Kypson just to get that return, but once he started chasing, it was Zheng's point to lose. This will be big for Zheng as well. Mentioned Kypson only been broken once this week in main draw play. Zheng only been broken twice himself. And it happened both times yesterday. Zheng has been a little close to that baseline on a few swings early. Just kept it in, and Kypson earns another deuce. Durham's finest, made of some tough stuff. Took down Andres Andrade in 78 minutes in the semifinals yesterday and really dominated those tight games all throughout. Kypson continues his hot starts in Little Rock. Wipes away the early deficits and grinds out a break in his first return game. Yesterday against Andrade, unfair to say it was as easy as it looks on the scoreboard when you see 6-3, 6-2. In that match, 5 games went to deuce. Kypson won all 5. Including the final 3 games to take the match, as he now looks for back-to-back titles on the Challenger Tour. Missed 3 months earlier in 2025 after Australian Open qualifying. Great to see him back at his best. Returned on the Challenger Tour in Savannah just a little over a month ago. Won in Bogota a couple weeks ago. Now looking for his 5th title in his career. It's been one of the more impressive things with Kypson too, and where he continues to show elite status. Even when he faults on his first serve, he has been just as good on his second. That strong right forehand powering Patrick Kypson to a 3-love lead. Has never lost in a Challenger final in his career, and some early work to do for Michael Zheng. Just wrapped up his junior year in the New York area helped take the Lions to the quarterfinals of the NCAA championship. Fell to eventual national champion Wake Forest. First final on this tour since June of 23. And boy, what a final it was for Michael Zheng. He advanced all the way to the final in Palmas de Mar at the Caribbean Open, and his opponents, Kei Nishikori. It was his first tournament about 2 years after he had hip surgery in 2022 and was hoping to get back to the Australian Open, if you can remember. And then another injury forced him to wait until the summer to get back. Well, it has been excellent to see Nishikori find his form once again. A tall task for Michael Zheng that lost 6-2, 7-5. In the same position as he was in yesterday's semifinal, down 3-love.
Now 15.
But Kypson's style, night and day between Liam Draxel. One of the grittier players you will see on the Challenger Tour. Tied for the second most wins this year with 26, only trailing Emilio Nava.
15 all.
And ace will help. Just the second time he's landed a first serve.
Hold. 15-30.
Second double fault. It's actually been one of the areas we haven't seen Kypson give away points. His backhand has been solid across the way down the line.
Go for Mark. Service.
Another break point going to Patrick Kypson. And another big break for Kypson. Doesn't even need to swing the racket to jump in front. 4-love. Just 16 minutes into the match. But what has really stood out and what has looked more impressive than his winners, how he's hung in long rallies and decimated other opponents. Mental toughness of Michael Zheng will really be put to the test now.
Oh! 59.
Great crowd on hand. They have packed the hills around the stadium court here at the Rebsamen Tennis Center. This crowd that has packed the stands on this side. Don't even think there's a seat left under the roof. Kypson has grabbed complete control. First time Kypson's really been put to the test when he's had service. Just broke out one heck of a winner. It starts with what he does on the baseline, but certainly it has been his consistency and how he's mixed it up too. He has won all 12 service points in his first 3 games. And one game away from baking up a bagel in the Little Rock Open final. "25-year-olds showing the kid how it's done." And after Michael Zheng was just broken twice in his 4 matches, he has not held in his first couple of games. Hoping we can see more of the moon and maybe an extended match. But right now, Michael Zheng really being put to the test after needing an hour and 50 minutes to beat Liam Draxel 6-4 in each set yesterday. And that's what was so tough. Zheng went down 3-love in the first set after a near 14-minute game. Hit deuce twice, had 1 break point, just couldn't get over the hump. But then after that's when he really made that adjustment and adapted to the match and Draxel's style. Won 4 of the final 5 games to go to deuce, including that big first break in the second set. Had deuce 5 times. Once again, we talk about the mental toughness Michael Zheng has. Let's see if he can pull in. That's the right start for Zheng. Still has landed his first serve just 2 times and 17 service points. No difference there. First serve, second serve, been all Kypson. As Zheng's coaches watch on, has cruised pretty much up until this point. Had a little bit of toughness against Draxel and had to come back. Oh! But Zheng opened this run Wednesday with a 76-minute win, then 55 minutes, 66 minutes. And there's that quality from Michael Zheng.
30-50.
More aggressive approach, and after the volley, Shows off the skill that got him here. So that's the good and bad. Won 4 matches in 4 straight days where he did not struggle much. And Patrick Kypson has clearly been a step above the rest of this field. He has been almost unstoppable with his feet set. Kypson earns a set point. Just 23 minutes in. Fortuitous bounce for Zheng. You always wonder when it comes hot off of Kypson's racket, is there enough momentum to get that roll over? Third deuce, each one has come in a Zheng service game. Oh! Just long from Kypson. After a big save, now a chance just to get on the board and extend the first set. It's what's been so great to see too, and again, hard not to be so impressed with what he has done with service, but has continued to remain aggressive in his return game. And talk about him getting his feet set. Really, the only player to have a lot of success against Kypson was Mitchell Kruger, the #1 seed in this field. It sounds like it makes sense. But after just a 31-minute first set on Wednesday, it was Kruger that got the upper hand and made him chase. Kypson just kept that ball in. Even with some quality strokes from Michael Zheng. Couldn't get that one. Now faces a second set point. Just out. Even the crowd a little bit surprised. Seemed destined to land as a winner. The pride of Montville, New Jersey, hangs in there. After facing set point twice, Zheng will look for any success in the return game, yet to record a point against Patrick Kypson. A near miss. The one of the better strokes he's had returning against Kypson. Had that right side wide open.
39.
Not much you can do about that one, though. For somebody who was ranked as high as number 133 last year, fell 300 spots because of some injuries and inconsistency. Kypson has been so solid. So it's been the best part. Anytime he's made a mistake, I've not seen a lot of back-to-back.
49.
Pure domination. Patrick Kypson wraps up the first set in a hurry. Second time he's taken a first set in half an hour this week. Halfway home to a second consecutive challenger title. It has been incredible to watch Patrick Kypson work. Well, I mentioned where he was ranked as high as number 133 last April. Before his win in Bogota, Colombia, just 2 weeks ago, Kypson was number 435. Entered Little Rock number 344. And going into today with 44 points in hand, Patrick Kypson now up to 279 in the rankings, just behind the player he beat yesterday, Andres Andrade. But Patrick Kypson continuing to look like the guy that beat Ethan Quinn at Indian Wells last year, after he also made the Houston main draw as a qualifier. But like we said, some of the injuries, some of the inconsistency after really raising eyebrows at Indian Wells and the ATP event in Houston. Kypson lost back-to-back-to-back opening round matches at challengers in Sarasota, Tallahassee, and Savannah. Even after missing 3 months earlier in this calendar year, Patrick Kypson has made the adjustments. And as he has shown, when healthy, can be a force.
Not 50.
Kypson trying to become the 4th player on this tour to rack up 7 wins in 8 days. That's what will be the key for Zheng to try and catch up. Focus on the return at a later time. It's the only way Kypson has been out of rhythm all week.
Very 15.
Great bounce back game for Michael Zheng after the double faults. 3 consecutive points. Trying to hold for a second straight game after he was broken a couple of times to open the match. There's that right hand. Didn't even need to step up to drive home this winner. One great stroke deserves another. Zheng's got a little bit of heat off his racket too, and that's what's really helped Kypson throughout the week. Where sometimes, maybe after that first return or a second, he steps up to the service line and just finds a way to finish points in a hurry. I haven't seen it a ton, but it's just one of those ways he's continued to mix it up, especially when he gets into second sets. I feel like when you play with confidence, you have complete control. Kypson has not just won first sets, again, decimated opponents. Despite 2 unseeded players making this final, hard to say there's been any other player that has looked as good. First return point of the match for Michael Zheng. Can't come soon enough. We just had a fan fall at the Rebsamen Tennis Center. Brief delay in the match. Even Nicholas Stellabot will turn from his chair.
How's he feeling, Mark?
We'll step aside for a moment as a fan is being attended to early in the second set. And good news, fan up on his feet and being attended to. Just strong from Zheng. That will be something to watch too. How aggressive will Zheng get as a returner? Try to go for some bigger swings and try to finish off points fast if he can get a good return across. Second time in the game, Kypson has missed wide in that same spot. I feel like you could count on one hand the amount of unforced errors Kypson had in that entire first set. Now 2 here in his first service game of the second set. Kypson making Zheng go side to side, fighting for his life. You just wonder how many times can he go before that one lands. Only seen the one ace from Kypson, but just as good as one. Had a dozen in his opening round win against Mitchell Kruger on Wednesday. It was impressive. Just every time he needed a big point, seemingly grabbed that crucial ace. Chance to take the game here. Too strong from Zheng. After giving up his first return points of the match, Patrick Kypson gets on the board at 1-all.
1-all.
Kypson becoming the 7th American to win on the Challenger Tour this year, including the only other college player, the only college player I should say. Zheng hoping it can become only other. Colton Smith winning in Cleveland in January. Zheng starting to adapt. Even when he's had to go into longer rallies, you see just how much talent the junior from Columbia has. Oh! Kypson can turn the tide like that. Over the last couple of points, he's grabbed control and takes care of this last one. It's just been impossible to make him uncomfortable, and that's what we talk about. Doesn't matter who you beat in Bogota. If you're just trying to get your legs back and your rhythm. Didn't lose a set in those 5 matches. And cruised to that title.
30-15.
Bounces back his way. didn't lose a set in those 5 matches, but didn't play an opponent ranked inside the top 300. So maybe that was one of the only questions about Patrick Kypson going into this week. Can he continue to string it together day after day? Can he show that consistency is there and not break down? After we saw an incredible match on Wednesday against Mitchell Kruger, Kypson has sustained his success in Little Rock. I was just wondering if and when Patrick Kypson might break out a drop shot. Can't land it. And Zheng hangs on. The point remains. Have to find a way to make him go side to side or up and down. So you let him get set and drive it with his forehand, it's over. So close. Kypson gets it done this time. Makes the adjustment on back-to-back points. Starting to see each side mix it up now in just the 3rd game of the 2nd set. Zheng close to working out of a tight spot once again. One too many hits into the net from Patrick Kypson. Back-to-back service games in the 2nd set where Zheng gets to deuce and finds a way to hold on. You knew he wasn't going to hang his head, feel sorry for himself after, I feel like Patrick Kypson just rolled. Taking the first 5 games in the 1st set and almost taking that 6th consecutive game, but no bagel, even though he did hold in a 30-minute 1st set. Michael Zheng starting to clean up his game. And really hoping to make Patrick Kypson earn a 5th career Challenger title. So great that both these players will jump in the car and head straight to Tyler, Texas at the conclusion of this match. So many great professionals, young and old, some of the best collegiate players in the field, not just here in Little Rock earlier this week, but also players like Zheng, like Rafael Hurar. Aiden Kim also in the field. And for these two players that earned special exemptions into the main draw this week in Tyler, it was Kypson up until the draw was laid out yesterday. That was still going to be a qualifier for the longest time, but of course you make it to this point, you'll get a special exemption. What a return. Michael Zheng starts strong. Can he get any of that going? Kypson, who's won about 3/4 of his service points all week. While Kypson will wait to see who he faces in the main draw on Tyler. Poor Michael Zheng, from Patrick Kypson to Stefan Dostanic, somebody he's already played twice this year. One in February against the national champion at Wake Forest, fell in the NCAA quarterfinals.
50-30.
It's another unforced error from Kypson. That may be more critical than some that he had in that last game that went into the net. About this from Michael Zheng. Couldn't get it over Kypson's head. Well, he gets that topspin on the ball you just don't see often, and it has really stood out this week. He's had a number of winners that have looked like that. First break point Kypson has had to defend. It's down. And Michael Zheng builds a 3-1 lead in the second set.
3-1.
Just the second time since Wednesday Patrick Kypson has broken. Only the 4th service game he has dropped since the start of qualifiers last Sunday.
Lot 50.
Just feels so similar to yesterday for Michael Zheng. Fell down 3-love in the first set, did rally to win that set. Just feels like it takes him a little bit of time to adapt, and he shows off his quality. From the heavy ball of Draxel to what you see off the racket from Kypson. Blazes that one by. Gets the point back on his second ace. Another unlucky bounce for Kypson. He's had a handful. Just take the wrong roll. That's what strong service can do. First two games, Zheng landed his first serve twice in 17 tries. Really turned it around since. After giving up that first point, it's 4 in a flash for Michael Zheng. And suddenly, it's a 4-1 second set. Or again, he was winning matches in about an hour out here. It took almost 2 to beat Liam Draxel yesterday. You start scratching your head going, is it going to be that easy? A resounding no for one of the bright stars at the college level. And in just his 10th ever Challenger tournament. And first since last summer in Chicago. Michael Zheng putting all the pressure on Patrick Kypson. The drop shot just has not been there for Kypson. Really started going to it a lot more since his last service game. All but one landed in the net. Zheng again gets those feet set. Feels like there were just those number of times that he was just trying to play catch up, block it, just get something over. And now he's sending it with just as much heat back the other way. And now the first triple break from Michael Zheng. Didn't register a single return point in the first set. And can flip the script with a second break here in the second.
Patrick.
Zheng.
What a break for Michael Zheng. Seemed destined to fall, but put it right where Zheng was. Didn't have to move much. One more hold will take us to a third set. Just 2 players this week since the main draw started on Wednesday to come back after losing the first set. Hasn't happened since Wednesday. Just missed. It seemed destined to land for Kypson. It looked good as it was coming over to this side, but no. 15 love Zheng. Leaves no doubt on that swing. So we started to see the change in approach. Find anything that might work. Great winner for Kypson to get back on track in this game. You know there might be some heavy legs out there. 7th match since last Sunday for Kypson. But it's just a little different when you see Zheng connect on some. 1 hour in, 2 points from taking a second set. Puts that out of reach to bring set point. Only took 30 minutes for Kypson to win 6 games in set 1. This could take 31 minutes in set 2. A lovely lob to claim the second set. Oh, it doesn't get better than that.
Coordinate second set. Zheng, 6-1. Stadium. Mr. Kypson, 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes. Go ahead, Rick Stadium. Mr. Gibson, Bill, 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes for Mr. Gibson.
Patrick Kypson has returned. After it felt like a minute in between the first and second set, we get a bit of an intermission as we go into the third set in our final, the UAMS Health Little Rock Open. Just the second set, Kypson has lost all week. And it came in just over half an hour. Sometimes the wardrobe change, all that is necessary to turn things around on a hot day in the natural state capital. first point of the deciding set goes to Kypson. Struggling with his drop shot throughout that second set. He was content to trade long strokes along the baseline. Somebody who was only broken once in his 4 previous matches leading up to this one. And after 2 breaks in that second set, how can he hold here?
30 love.
Guess that's out. We knew that was going to be the key. Kypson winning a little bit under 3/4 of his service points. Zheng, meanwhile, won 48% of his return points. And had a little bit of each from the first set to the second set. And ever since those early struggles, it feels like a lifetime ago for Michael Zheng. Especially in that first return game. I feel like he put 3 or maybe all 4 returns over the line. And that will just be that key. How can he get a couple of quality returns and try to get on the front foot? Had all day to figure out that one.
30.
And all he can do is hope for a miss when you send that free ball back. Zheng in his 4 matches entering today had 17 breaks. 4 or more in each match.
40-30.
That's one way to seize control for Kypson. Two of his 3 points barely touched by Zheng in this opening game of the third set. That's one way to turn it around for Patrick Kypson, looking to improve his unbeaten streak in Challenger Tour finals. 4-0. Won in Bogota just 2 weeks ago on May 18th. They had to wait a while in between titles. First since Cleveland in January of 2024. One in Urbana-Champaign in November of 23. And then another one in Colombia in June of that same year. Michael Zheng up to the task. Just grew up across the George Washington Bridge in New Jersey. And even before his teen years, part of the USTA's junior development program. You could tell from that early age, Michael Zheng had a chance to be something special. Very similar to those early days. Well, Zheng has turned it around in a hurry. Zheng's connecting and getting it done in different ways against Kypson. How about catching up to that one? Felt like he still had a chance, even if that landed in. Zheng had said first couple of days of starting that junior program, he was losing 6-love to some players. Said a lot of them at the time were just better than me, more experienced, but I just tried to find ways to win. After some early errors,
30-love.
It's been Zheng playing some spectacular tennis, getting his opponent moving, and a down-the-line winner. Just seems fitting that he became obsessed with tennis at an early age, and after those early struggles, taking that big step up, watching film of so many pros, scrutinizing the performance of his opponents. It's just been a little bit of everything from Michael Zheng. Comes from dad, trying to exploit opponents' weaknesses, think of different ways to attack. He'd journal it, the pluses and minuses, and find ways to beat them. That's how, even after a couple of slow starts in his last 2 matches, he's turned it around. Michael Zheng, an absolute menace.
1 game all.
Since he was broken in his first 2 service games, he has been nearly untouchable. And this is what you love to see out of some of the best collegiate players, not just coming out here and competing with longtime pros like the former Texas A&M Aggie, Patrick Kypson. We are seeing it over the last couple of years, that ATP Next Gen Accelerator, and those opportunities for some of the best to try their hand in some tournaments and see what they're really made of as they try to chart a career path that can work for them.
50-love.
Good start for Kypson. This will have to feel good after that last game. Not too many balls that he's been able to step up into at the service line and go in for the kill. Knew that was a good one. Back-to-back strong strokes from Kypson. Comes because of Zheng having to range over after that ball down the middle. Zheng's ability to grind out points, what has been the biggest difference from turning around that 6-1 first set to flipping the script in the second.
40-50.
Kypson holds again. Maybe that outfit change in between sets the difference. Looking more comfortable out there after he was broken twice in that second. Now can he get it going on the return side? It was such a great start for Kypson, but credit the toughness and the adjustments made by Zheng. Something he's done all throughout his early days. We always wonder, how can the best in college come out here and compete? Not just on the Challenger Tour, but young men that have won on this tour, and especially the form that Patrick Kypson has showed. You wondered, like we said off the top, is it going to be the strong service that just watches him cruise to another victory, or will Zheng continue to fight tough and get those breaks? And the ensuing of breaking down those opponents. It is Zheng talking to Quality Shot Tennis. Been on site conducting some interviews after matches for a lot of our action since we began the main draw on Wednesday. And it was Zheng that said, you know what, level pretty similar on the Challenger Tour versus college. Think of some of those differences of no ad scoring, and remember what you have to bring 5 consecutive days to win. But he did liken it to a college schedule of just week in and week out, having to grind it. And asking yourself, how do I get those victories? How can I keep my body fresh? But the biggest comparison in saying you have to realize anybody's capable of winning on any given day. Hard to hear that from somebody who racked up 37 wins this season for Columbia. NCAA singles champion in November, finished number 2 in the ITA rankings.
30 love.
One of the few Zheng has put into the net over the last dozen games, it feels. Nearly there for Kypson. Feels like half a dozen have hit the white tape on top of the net, and don't think he's gotten one to bounce his way. And the game goes on. And like we've seen Zheng do, Kypson hangs in. Just needs one more point to get deuce. Could that be a major moment in the match if Kypson is able to come back and break here? He'll have a shot. First game to go to deuce since right around the same time early in the second set, where Zheng found a way to hold. Good hustle. But Zheng puts it in a tough spot. And after that miscue in front of the net where he could have taken the game, just needs one more here. An ace to take advantage. Zheng evens it again. You just knew it wasn't going to be easy after it's officially clocked in as a 29-minute first set and a 31-minute second set. I think anybody in this great crowd in Little Rock was guessing it was going to be another fast finish to a set.
Love.
Been a good start to this third set for Kypson. Think of how relevant it was. Service or return. He was struggling to keep the ball in. Some great winners from Zheng, but it seems like the difference was his unforced errors.
40.
Just his second ace of the match. Wonder if he can string together a few of these. Because when he connects, it is one of the better serves you will see on the Challenger Tour. Nicely done by Zheng. After he had to take some pace off on that one stroke. To see how cerebral Zheng is. And knowing even if that wasn't a winner, hard for Kypson to catch up on those back-to-back returns. It is an ace. I think even the fans were stunned silent for a moment. Heard Nicholas Stellabot in the chair utter something. I think Kypson just as confused. 5 straight holds to open up the third set. Will it be just the 4th qualifier to win a challenger title this year? Or will Michael Zheng become the lowest ranked player and just the 2nd collegiate player currently to win a challenger title? Colton Smith did it in Cleveland in January. Zheng with a chance as we move into the middle stage of the deciding third set. What a week it has been in Little Rock. Again, if you've kept your eye on Roland Garros and the Challenger Tour, if you haven't heard us talk about it, rain came in Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And hard to call it rain at times because what was so frustrating was that it was more of a mist at times and still got in our way. But our terrific crew found a way to get this done. Led by Brian, Francesco, Claudio, all of our great cameramen and women that have kept the action going as we started our main draw Wednesday afternoon. Not something you like to say, but still somehow stayed on time. Zheng misfires. Our tournament director, Chip Stearns, has been very proud in saying, hey, we did 23 matches on Wednesday, 13 more on Thursday, and just found a way.
Love 30.
And there's that focus we saw from Patrick Kypson in the first set. Coach Alejandro Gonzalez loves it. I'll mention too, this is what Zheng has done so well since those early struggles. Couldn't buy a first serve in the first set. After one return, freezes the opposition and goes to the exact same spot. Well, thanks to that lucky bounce off the net. No double fault for Zheng. Continues to find ways to get it done. So I think anybody's going to perk up in their seat. From here on out, you see love 30 Even after that early edge, Zheng rips it away, 40-30 now.
Use.
At least the good news for Michael Zheng. 5th game that has gone to deuce. He's won the last 3. Let's put that on best of the best.
Patrick Kypson.
Earned it with that passing shot. That's all you can hope to see from here on out between 2 incredible players. Over the line from Zheng. And the first big moment in this 3rd set goes to Patrick Kypson. Broke in back-to-back games to start the 1st set. That is his first since. Just past the 100-minute mark in the match. He's locked in now.
50 love.
Off that great service. It's Zheng chasing the ball all over when it seemed like it was rare to see that at any point in the 2nd set when he broke twice. Kypson forced to go to a lob, couldn't get enough on it, and it becomes a free ball at the service line. Needed a couple of tosses before this next serve. Not sure if Zheng thought it might be called out. It was about as close as it can get. For whatever reason, Kypson manages to stay in front here.
Dirty all. 13-30.
Don't think we've seen that in nearly 2 hours. Back-to-back errors in the net from Kypson and then Zheng. And the game to Patrick Kypson. 1 game away from a 5th career challenger title. Hardest he's had to work all week in Little Rock. And throughout his incredible display since jumping back on the Challenger Tour in late April. Made the Savannah field as a qualifier, but didn't last long. After back-to-back wins, fell to Alfredo Perez in the opening round of the main draw. Took a couple of weeks off, then went to Bogota and ripped through in his 5 matches. Beat Pedro Sakamoto in back-to-back sets. 6-1, 6-3, needed just 78 minutes. Here at the stadium court, the Rebsamen Tennis Center, great host that joined this Challenger Tour in 2019. They've been hosting professional tennis tournaments since 1981, 44th in their history. And this is the good for Michael Zheng. In order to climb back, just need 1 break. It's a tall task this late in the match. Talk about the great story from Michael Zheng. Patrick Kypson, can't state it enough. Turned pro after a year at Texas A&M. Struggled with stress fractures in his right elbow. Had some abdominal strains too, just to maybe overcorrect. It's not been an easy journey for him.
Left. For service.
Good ace for Zheng. He's had a few timely ones as he collects his 5th of the afternoon. Zheng so close to completing step 1. After Kypson continued to mix it up in the 2nd set, struggled to find that success. It has turned into a battle of who blinks first along the baseline. Only 5 points needed for Michael Zheng to hold.
Kypson leads 5 games to 3.
Match now on the line for the Columbia kid and his company watching on. Hard to believe he had only just finished his junior year with the Lions, going 37-5. It's a guy that won the USTA Boys 18's national championships, defeating Sebastian Korda and J.J. Wolf. Patrick Kypson at his best can be one heck of a pro player. That said, after his Cleveland Open win in January of 24, feel like he hasn't arrived yet. He can put the tennis world back on notice if he can close this out. Zheng gets on the board. Point he had to have, you feel. A Patrick Kypson service game has yet to go to deuce this afternoon. A worthy winner from Michael Zheng.
Come on. 40-30.
Kypson not deflated one bit. Quickly earns his first match point. With the match hanging in the balance, Zheng catches up to the drop and puts it away to get to deuce for the first time in a return game. After just one break in his last 4 matches, Kypson has broken twice today. And he'll have to hang on to avoid a third. First lucky bounce for Patrick Kypson today. Comes to save a break point. Had been on the wrong side time and time again. Just the second save of the match.
Advantage, Kypson.
Second match point for Kypson. Zheng hanging by a thread right now, but it's enough. After not collecting a single return point in the first set, it has been anything but easy since. Kypson trying to find that last point. Caught Zheng off guard there. And that split second, the difference. There's just no quit from Michael Zheng right now. Saving some of his best winners for last. Hard to ask for much more. Zheng quickly grabs the upper hand and for the second time in the game has the advantage. Fifth deuce of the game. Momentum quickly back on Zheng's side. We will go to a 15th point in the game. Longest game of the match goes to Michael Zheng.
5 game.
It took a while. He's got nothing but time. Third break of the match for Michael Zheng. Down to match point more than a few times, but hangs in there for 3 match points. And now you ask, can Patrick Kypson shake off that disappointment? Can't believe admission was free to the Rebsman Tennis Center today. No matter what you paid, you were going to get your money's worth. Michael Zheng staying alive and keeping us here just past 5 o'clock local time in Little Rock.
Time.
Set it off the top of our broadcast and throughout. Just past 2 hours in, it was the question: what would be better or bigger in this finals? Zheng's ability to break you down, or Kypson's stellar service? Zheng coming off his third break, 20th over his last 5 matches. I wonder that too. How does any player come back after nearly taking the match 3 times? But after a rough 6-1 second set, Kypson has put his struggles behind him quickly. Haven't seen that often from Kypson. That's what's unfortunate for him. Anytime you feel like he is trying to take that hard right turn, so to speak, he's been burned and had an unforced error. Same method this time around, with Zheng getting aggressive. And even after a solid return, just gets jammed up.
Out.
30 all. Michael Zheng a point away from giving him some breathing room. Has clearly become a crowd favorite for good reason. Three in a row for Michael Zheng.
5-game ball.
After a 29-minute first set, a 31-minute second set. We will need at minimum 12 games to complete a third set, more than an hour deep. And suddenly it's Kypson on the ropes. After falling in a 15-point game in his last time with service. It's Kypson who jumps in front.
59.
Looking to win his 7th match since starting qualifying play a Sunday ago. Took down the #1 seed in this field and last year's winner Mitchell Kruger in a 2.5-hour marathon. And hard to say Kypson has been tested quite like this in his time. Michael Zheng has showed to be a worthy adversary, despite playing in his first Challenger Tour since last July. Kypson's putting a few too many into the net right now. Still in front on the board. But the door has just remained cracked. It's also been the struggle for Kypson. He's not landing that first serve as often as early in the match. Are you not entertained?
40-50.
It feels as big as any final should be. Each side has had to go so deep into their tool bag. Kypson struggling to finish out games right now. Trying to avoid deuce again. Gets away from Kypson. Did not hit deuce in a service game until his 12th of the afternoon. Now it's happening back-to-back games.
Advantage Kypson.
As the crowd continues to get into it late, you wonder, can it be quickly wrapped up, or will it go the way that it went last time in a 17.5-minute thriller that saw Zheng break to keep the match alive? Kypson upset. That looked in. Tough break off the tape. Zheng with a chance to get on the high side again, like he did after saving 3 match points. Fifth ace of the day. After some struggles landing that first serve. No problem. Incredible toughness. All around. After dropping 3 consecutive games, Patrick Kypson finds a way to hold. That puts the pressure on Michael Zheng to force a tie-break in the 3rd set. Not easy for any player to climb back after you're so close to winning another title and have to deal with that disappointment. Michael Zheng showing he can make that jump from college to pro pretty quick. That's what's amazing too. We talk about how Zheng has found ways to break down opponents and adapt mid-match. Although he hadn't lost the first set just yet going into this final. Had given up a few games here and there. In his 4 matches entering today, had just dropped 9 games in the 2nd set to make it 10-5. Just to show you what type of player this guy is. And you know New Jersey will be proud to claim him.
These two haven't traded slices often.
But the slice is right. And a passing shot to start off strong. You just wonder, how does Michael Zheng continue to do this? Hard to believe any competitor would keep his composure. Kypson grabs a point. It's been something he's tried to continue doing. Even when you feel the advantage would go to Kypson, it has not been easy to finish off those types of points when he's crashed. Patrick Kypson's ground game continues to carry him. Fourth match point in the set. Zheng failed to save the only break he faced in the third. It just feels as though this match will have no end. And who wants to leave their seat anyways. Sometimes you wish you could maybe have a best of 5, but then they'd just be here all night. Kypson's gotten here a number of times. Just hasn't been able to close it out.
Advantage Kypson.
Zheng's brought his best when he's needed to. On cue. Back to deuce. Minutes into the third set. Just 2 points needed for Michael Zheng to send us to a tiebreak.
Advantage Kypson.
And the 6th double fault quickly gives the advantage back to Kypson after Zheng's 6th ace. And it's the first one of the set.
Game 7 match. Patrick Kypson 2 sets to 1. Set 1, 1-6, 7-5.
Feels unfair. Back-to-back double faults. But make no mistake, whoever was winning this, it was all earned. Patrick Kypson leaves it all out on the courts and wins back-to-back challengers. Don't care who you are, don't care who you've played. You win it back-to-back, you've done something special. Special player, special opponent, and it turned into a special match here in Little Rock today. After playing 2 sets in about 60 minutes, a marathon third set that helped this matchup live up to the hype it deserved. Michael Zheng has shown he's here and he's spectacular. Gut-wrenching way to go out, but after an almost too easy first set for Patrick Kypson, Zheng shows that ability to adapt and nearly overcomes the 5-2 deficit in the third to force a tiebreak in the third. Patrick Kypson becomes your 4th qualifier on the Challenger Tour this year to win a title. And his 7th win in the last 8 days, his toughest. But continuing to rise the ranks, Patrick Kypson will jump nearly 200 spots from where he was sitting just a month ago. It's taken time to arrive, but can this be the Patrick Kypson we hoped to see 5 years ago? An absolute thriller in the 6th Challenger Tour tournament in Little Rock, Arkansas. We'll wait another moment or two to let Chip Stearns our tournament director, take the mic and hand out some hardware. After sitting and watching Shelton Alcaraz this morning before we had to get ready for our 2 matches today, you wondered, could there be a set as good as that first set as Alcaraz marches on after a valiant effort from an American on clay. Still 2 of the U.S. boys onto the quarterfinal, but you hoped this time of year and going into what always expects to be a great summer of tennis, you hope this is just the start as we go into the premier events on the calendar. Patrick Kypson, 5-0 in Challenger finals now. Let's go to Chip.
At this point, we're all raising money for the UAMS Health Rockefeller Cancer Institute. Very worthy prize. He's going to get the microphone to Dr. Ruchu Kumaran. He's going to share with us just what it's all about in just a couple of minutes.
Good evening, thanks Chip. First round of applause for the players. The winner and runner-up. So I'm going to be short and sweet. I'm the face of the transplant program at UAMS, the Rockefeller Cancer Institute, and what we do is stem cell transplant for high-risk leukemia patients or lymphoma patients, and it's potentially life-saving and curative treatment. And we've been doing this for well over 10 years, and our outcomes are very well in par with major institutions like MD Anderson Houston or WashU or St. Louis. So we write at the Cancer Institute of Little Rock, UMS, and I know most of you all, one way or the other, have been touched by cancer, either your friends or family, and you know, if you all need help, we are there to help. And with that, I'm going to introduce my colleague, work colleague, Dr. Zheng, who's in charge of the CAR-T program, the new immunotherapy program. So I'm going to hand over the mic to Dr. Zheng.
Thank you, everyone. And just like Mutu said, events like these allow us to provide financial, economic support to the Cancer Institute that is very needed for the kind of patients that we see, blood cancers. And we do, as we were saying too, our outcomes are basically very similar to ones of other bigger academic institutions. That includes new technologies that are available here in Arkansas, including CAR-T cell therapy, as well as clinical trials, early clinical trials in blood cancers. So we appreciate everyone's support for this cause. And again, our congratulations to the players. It was a great match.
All right, guys, I'm going to pass the microphone on to our tournament supervisor, Mark Bell, who just has a couple of words.
Good afternoon, good evening. I'm not used to doing this, so I'm going to read a little bit from my notes here. I want to thank all the groups that make this possible, of course, too. Our sponsor, all the kids over here, our volunteers, our officials, our players. Especially thank you for the players. This perseverance and professionalism that you have shown this week, especially during this challenging week with a lot of rain delays and back-to-back matches. Well done, guys. Again, thanks for the players. Every group here that I just mentioned contributes in different ways that this tournament succeeds. Is equally important. Without them, doesn't matter who you are, this tournament would not be possible. But I would also like to mention a special thank you to Mark and Jay Heflin. They don't just make this tournament happen, they make this tournament feel like family. Their kindness and generosity are the real trophies we all get to take home. Thank you. And of course, our tournament director Chip, thank you for your tireless leadership and keeping in track, everything on track. On behalf of the USTA, the ATP, thank you very much, and I hope to see you next year.
Thanks, Mark. This is our second year with Mark, and Mark and Michaela. I don't know if Michaela Moons are head of officials, but they've been great. It's been great to work with them. Hopefully they'll be back for many more years. I'm going to try to get through this as quick as possible because I know we want to get to the players and and finish all this out. But we have a few thank yous. Obviously, UAMS Health. All this wouldn't be possible without you guys. I know we've mentioned Parker Cadillac a few times. Obviously, they've coming on as a big corporate sponsor. That's been huge, and thanks to Wynn and Natalie Rockefeller for making that happen. So thanks so much. To the city and the Conventions Bureau, I mean, this is a city facility, and we're always trying to make it better. The city's trying to do everything they can to improve this every year, so they're a big part of this too, so thanks to the city. A couple of new sponsors have been a big help, Banco ZK and MK Distributors, and Amina Milani, Trinitas. Those are all relatively new sponsors. Trinitas not so new, but some really big new sponsors that do a lot of things behind the scenes that you guys wouldn't necessarily see, but we wouldn't be able to do without. So there's a big thank you to all you. And also the George Dunklin Foundation, who's been doing this for several years. It maintains a big sponsorship every year. It's been a big family of Arkansas tennis for years, so thanks to the Dunklin Foundation. Matt and Courtney Jones, who are final sponsors, they're here today. They'll be presenting the trophies. Thanks so much for everything that you guys do for the tournament. All right, so real quick, a couple people that are here all the time. Maybe most important of all are our ball kids right here, right? Some of the best ball kids, they're probably maybe the best ones we've ever had. They did a great job. A big thank you to Melissa Johnston and Regina Wallace for doing so much with the ball kids. Melissa's going to keep doing this for years to come. To our drivers, the drivers did get to drive those Cadillacs, so maybe it wasn't that hard. But Kyle Francis, Dana Bennett, and your team, you drive these players back and forth to the airport, wherever they need to go. Doing really late nights sometimes, so thanks a lot to the drivers. Those guys put a lot of miles on those cars. To all of our food sponsors, if any of you guys are here, we're feeding the players and feeding the officials every day. They're very big help, a lot of donations, and to our food trucks, being out here every day. So it's really nice to have something like that out here. So thanks so much to all the food people. Okay, a couple individual thanks. So everybody here knows Andrew Fox. Let's give Andrew Fox a big hand. There is Fox. Fox has been a huge help to me and to the whole group and everybody who works here at Ruston, doing a lot of things that people probably don't want to do, emptying out trash and that kind of thing. We're doing everything that needs to be done, late nights, early mornings, so thanks to all of you guys. To our stringer, Justin Garcia. Justin, I don't know if Justin out here, we're going to give it up. Justin strung 314 rackets this week. Actually, 319, so I don't want to forget those 5. All right, so a lot of times he's here before me, and he's locking up after me, so I'm sure his hands are quite raw. Players couldn't do it without you, so thanks, Justin. To our pros here at Revston, Raul Bermudez and Janae Batchelor and their crew, I kind of bumped them out of their routine for the last couple of weeks, so thank you so much for your patience and all your help with the Kids Day and International Day. I mean, we couldn't do it without them, so thanks so much to Raul and Janae. I mentioned Mark and Michaela already, but also to the officials. All right, it's a very tough job. All right, so we really appreciate them. They come from all over the country. They're always traveling around. They did a really good job this year. Thanks so much to the officials. I'm almost done, I promise. Thanks so much to the Little Rock Open Committee. All right, so many people put so many hours into this. So again, we couldn't do it without their help. They're the ones raising the money. They're the ones helping us out here all the time. A lot of hours. So thanks so much to everybody on the committee. Thanks so much to my family, my wife Michelle, who helped with the food this week. She took the week off to help me with this, and my boys, so they basically don't see me very much for the last couple of weeks. So thanks so much to my family. I will reiterate one more time what Mark said. I want to lastly, but most importantly, the Heflins and their family. how much work that they do, what the tournament chairs don't do, the amount of work that they do. You know, if it's the courts are wet, they're the first ones out here, any errands that need to be run. Anyway, they're such a huge help. I don't want to go on and on, I don't want to embarrass them, but everybody here knows how much they mean to this tournament, to Arkansas tennis, so thank you so much to Jay and Mark. All right, so that being said, let's get these guys out of here. Let's get these trophies. What a great match today by these guys, right? Really got to see some great tennis. Our finalist, Michael Zheng. I forgot to tell Michael, he's got to say a few words.
First, I'd like to congratulate Patrick on a great tournament. I know he's coming back from injury, and last couple of weeks he had a great run in Bogota, and to get the title here again, it's been amazing for him, and I'm happy to see him playing at a high level again. So congratulations. Next, I'd like to thank the fans. The crowd and support was amazing today. It's not something you see at a lot of challengers, so it was just amazing to play here, and it was just such a great experience. So thank you guys. Next, I'd like to thank Chip, Mark, the sponsors, the ball kids, all the volunteers, Stringer, everyone who made this event possible. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for any of them, so thank you, big shout out to them. And this is the first week on the road with my new coach, Ruan. Not a bad way to start out our journey together, so shout out to him and my dad here supporting me. This is my first challenger actually that I ever played 2 years ago, and I'm happy to make the finals here. It's always a highlight of the year. I hope to be back and take the title next year. So thank you.
Thanks, Michael. All right, and a well-earned championship to our 2025 champion, Patrick Kypson.
First off, congrats, Michael. Great week. You're a heck of a player, heck of a competitor, so all the best to you and your coach for the rest of the season. And next, I just want to repeat after Michael and say thanks to all the sponsors, the volunteers, everybody who makes this event possible. Ball kids, you guys were great this week. Thanks for being your best players. Really appreciate it, so thank you. Chip, also thanks a lot for the event. You did a fantastic job. I know it was challenging beginning of the week with the weather, and Mark also, I think you guys did a great job. So thank you. Also want to really say thank you to Kyle, who's one of I think the head of the transportation, and Mr. Dana for their countless hours driving at 11 at night, 7 in the morning. For a week straight. You guys are really awesome, so thank you. And thanks to everybody that came out today. Like Michael said, I think it was a great atmosphere to play in. It's not every day that you get to fill a stadium and a challenger, so thank you guys for coming out and supporting 2 Americans. We appreciate it. Thank you. And last, I have a good team of people around me that keep me in shape and try and keep me healthy and on the right path. Only one of them is here this week, my coach Alejandro. Thank you for being with me this week. Thank you. Hope to see everybody next year. Thank you.
All right, congrats to these players. It was such a great match, one of the best ones we've ever had. that concludes our 2025 UAMS Health Little Rock Open. All right, really appreciate all your support. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing it without you guys. So hopefully we'll see you all next year. Thanks so much.
What a run in Little Rock this week. It was a mad dash to the finish, but we got it in a thrilling final between Michael Zheng and a back-to-back winner in Patrick Kypson, worthy of all the hype and excitement that we expect this time of year. And now for those two and this announcer, the race to Tyler, Texas is on. We'll talk to you there as our main draw begins tomorrow. Action-packed here on the U.S. Challenger Tour. It's been a joy to be out here in Little Rock all week and see some of the best on the Challenger Tour give 100%. Big thank you to our production crew getting us off and running and through this final on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in Little Rock. You've been watching the UAMS Health Little Rock Open on the ATP Challenger Tour at USTA Pro Circuit.